friends, it is Stephanie with Festive Creations by Stephanie. My name is Stephanie and I am the owner of Festive Creations by Stephanie, where we inspire you to make beautiful things. We also provide the supplies to make those beautiful things, and I teach people how to grow their online business. I am going to be working with an 18-inch grapevine tonight, and I brought in some of my favorite greenery. I've got some fun ribbon, I got some fun things to play with, and I get all the time that people need a formula for grapevines. So I'm going to talk about one formula that you can use, and that's what I'm going to be using tonight. All right, so I am going to be playing with an everyday wreath. So I get a lot of you guys that say, first of all, that you don't comprehend, or it's difficult to comprehend how to put a grapevine together. So I'm actually going to be using like a formula for this particular grapevine so that it'll kind of make a little sense. I'm going to be using 3 different ribbons. We're going to add a bow, and I brought out some little attachments, and they happen to be some lemons, y'all. So let's get started. So one of the easiest formulas that I do with a grapevine is with things like this. So this is it's a spray, and it comes with all the different foliage in it. See, it has some fern in it. It has some some grassy looking tall blades, right? But it has all kinds of different foliage in it, and that helps eliminate the struggle of what do I put in it? You know, what do I add to it, right? So, having to buy multiple greeneries, this one takes a lot of that pain out by buying sprays like this. So I actually brought out 2 of these, and I'm going to show you a very simple formula. So we're going to use 2 of these in this formula, 2 sprays. And y'all, you can use any kind of sprays. Actually, you know what? Let me show you an example. But this is considered a spray. See how it has the different foliage in it and different colors? Sprays come in a lot of different shapes, sizes, colors, etc. This is great for greenery, but you see how it's a spray. It all comes together. And so that's an example. So a spray are these things. So you can take 2 of these sprays, and we're going to cut these down, and you can just simply add those. I'm just going to go ahead and cut those off because I don't need them 36 inches or whatever they are, 25, you know. So I don't need those. So from your standpoint, you can simply put them in your wreath frame or around your grapevine just like this and add a bow. That is the easiest way to make a grapevine. No frills, no nothing. But we're going to take that same concept and we're going to build it up a little bit. So I brought out some of my mini wildflowers. I brought out some boxwood. I have a lemon spray that I'm going to be using, and we're just going to add 2. But the base of it is going to start with using these. Simple, simple, easy peasy. I'm going to turn this back around and have it face me. This is a round grapevine, but y'all, grapevines are handmade, and this one's just has a little bit of an oval shape to it, but I'm okay with that. If I am not going to dissect this and cut this into mini pieces, which this one I'm not, I'm actually going to use a U-pen, or you can just use regular floral wire, and I'm going to help secure this to my grapevine using the U-pen. So the first thing I want to do is decide where do I want my bow, and I want my bow to be a little bit higher. So I'm going to place this up a little higher, and I'm just going to stick that down right in between the vines on the grapevine. All right, so if I go a bow here, I'm going to bring this one up a little higher. So you see how I'm not going dead center. I'm kind of going up at an angle, so a bow would sit here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of bend this around because it's all wired and have it kind of follow my grapevine. And I'll use one of these U-pins to help attach it to the grapevine further on down the stem. Look how easy that was. Basic recipe. And we can add a bow right here and we can call it done. But you know, I'm special. I'm special, so I'm going to go a little bit further. So before I go too much further, let's stop and make a bow. All right, so I'm going to use some of this 2.5-inch lemon, and this guy's going to have some tails. So I'm going to start out with our 2.5-inch and make some loops on our bow. Some pretty loops. I just made. We're going to do a couple of loops of the lemon. And I'm going to bring in some green. This is why 50-yard rolls are awesome. It will last me quite a while. Actually, you know what? I'm going to add a little more lemon in there. Just because I want it to be bright and fresh and make a statement. So I'm going to add one more loop of lemon before I add just that solid yellow. And this one's going to be a little bit thicker bow, so I might use a zip tie on this. All right. Let me grab a zip tie. Check this out. Oh, let me make it just a smidge tighter. Okay. All right, see how 2 sprays and a bow can make a huge statement. Huge statement. There is a great formula for grapevines. That's like the baby formula, the basic. So if you've never played with grapevines before, that is a quick and easy way. As soon as I get the other side of my wire to come through. All right. If I were really mean, I would stop right there and say there is a basic wreath. 2 sprays and a bow. But we're not going to stop there. So I'm going to play with my bow a little bit and move him down. One thing that I like to do is I like to bring in some of my greenery behind my bow because it helps to anchor that. So I'm going to bring some of this mini leaf bush. And the lemon wreaths do so well across any lifestyle. So it just kind of is a common denominator. It doesn't matter if you're rustic, modern, abstract, no matter what your decorating tastes are, lemons always fit in really well. All right, so see, I've added some of that mini leaf bush, and I put it right behind that bow. But we're not done yet, because I'm going to take a couple more of that. This was a partial bush. This mini leaf bush, I had some left over from a previous project. And we're going to bring some of that down here and integrate that as well. Okay, so I brought out, I shouldn't say only, I brought out one of my lemon sprays because look what I have. I have a box of lemons. Box of lemons. So I'm going to take this lemon spray, and it has like the smaller lemons in it. And then I have the box of lemons that we can add more to it. So again, I'm going to trim down that lemon stem, this lemon spray, and we're going to integrate him into our design. As soon as I figure out where I want him. And then I'm going to pull some of that mini leaf spray up through there so it looks like it's kind of all growing together. So you know how when you're making floral cuts and there's like wires left over, I save these. I have a whole jar of them somewhere, but I couldn't find them right before I went live. And I save them and I use them to add attachments to either my floral designs, my wreath designs. And so I just save these pieces. If they're at least 3 or 4 inches long, I'll save them. So I just have that little wire there. These are great for adding into like foam. So I just simply will, sometimes I'll pierce it first and do like a pilot hole, which is probably a good thing I did because that one's a little tight. And then I'll add some glue to that and I'll stick it right in there. And now I have made a pick out of it. A couple more of these and have them lined up and ready because I have to let my glue set up here. So we'll get that ready. And I'm going to use the longer one. There we go. Okay, so I made 3 of those. I don't know if I'm going to use them all, but I have 3 of them ready. Also, I brought out these. Yellow and blue go so well together, and I wanted to experiment because when I set this, when I pulled everything out and I laid these blue sunflowers, gingham sunflowers next to it, it just spoke to me. It spoke to me. So I'm going to play with this for a second and see if I'm going to love it or leave it. Love it or leave it. Not every wreath has to have a sign. So would you agree that where we're going with this doesn't need a sign? So we could add a sign to this. And this one is actually one of the signs that was in our Festive Sign Club last month. So it's that exclusive sign, but it goes super well with this. And one thing that keep in mind is that you don't want the sign to stand alone. So if you're going to add something like a sign to this, you don't want it to stand over here by itself. You see how it's not touching any greenery up here. It's not touching any greenery down there. The secret sauce is kind of snuggle it in. So snuggle it in so it becomes a part of your design. And it's okay to be different. Like I will angle it so the letters are going a different angle. And definitely you want it to be snuggled in somewhere, whether it be up here or down there. But you can opt to not have a sign at all. So now I can add glue to those picks I just added to my lemons. And let's add a little more lemon integrated into our wreath. Now remember, this lemon's a little bit darker than this lemon, so I have to integrate some of it up here so it stays cohesive. I don't have to, but I choose to. Yes. Okay, I'm loving that. Let me see if I want this one or this one. I think I'm going to go with this one. All right, so I just added some cable timeouts to the back with some pipe cleaners, and let's snuggle them in. Make sure my sign is nice and taut, nice and secured. Get rid of the little pipe cleaner fur. All right, who's ready to hang this guy up on the wall and see what he looks like? Let's see, let's see. Let's see if we can zoom in there. There we go. There we go. Except this is going to drive me nuts. So I'm going to shift the bottom of this sign so that it goes a little more that way. And let's hope that I didn't take too much of the pipe cleaner off to do that. But I can feel I still have quite a bit to work with. So I'm going to fix that because it's driving me bonkers. Oh, but you can't see me. Here I am. Here I am. Ursula, girl. Becky, and thanks for hanging out. See you tomorrow, guys. Be safe.